streets where the violent have power. A new generation carries on an old tradition.
I love this movie. I love Italian gangster movies. I love Italian gangsters in Italian gangster movies. I love the confidence. I love the charisma. I love the way they talk with their hands. As far back as I can remember, Goodfellas has been my favorite movie. When civilization collapses and aliens have taken over and are teaching their alien offspring about the few truly great things human beings have done, they will point to democracy, philosophy, and the movie Goodfellas. I loved this movie so much when I was a kid. Not only did I want to be a gangster, but I wanted to be an Italian gangster. I wanted to dye my hair black and have everyone call me Tony. My parents tried to shut that whole phase down, but I was like, hey, this is me now, capiche? The film is based on the novel Wise Guy by Nicholas Pileggi and is a true story of Henry Hill, an Irish-Italian kid from Brooklyn who always wanted to be a gangster. He starts out small time as a 15-year-old boy helping out the mobsters by doing them favors and parking their cars. He works his way up the mob and by the time he's 21 is a well-respected gangster who is making a great living. The film chronicles Hill's rise and eventual fall in the world of organized crime. The cast of this movie is amazing. Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, Paul Sorvino, Joe Pesci, half of everyone who's in The Sopranos, and even Samuel L. motherfucking Jackson. Joe Pesci does an amazing job portraying Tommy, a pint-sized psychopath with a hair-trigger temper. If there's one thing you need to know about Tommy, is that Tommy is not funny. Don't ever call Tommy funny.
How the fuck am I funny? What the fuck is so funny about me? Tell me. Tell me what's funny. You're fucking... You fucking moron!
Robert De Niro does an amazing job playing Jimmy Conway, an Irish gangster who works with the mafia. De Niro does a great job playing this character of a big friendly sociopath. Robert De Niro is an amazing actor and can play almost any role, but I have a major problem with him playing the character of Irish gangster Jimmy Conway. The problem is, Robert De Niro doesn't look at all Irish. He is one Italian-ass Sicilian looking motherfucker. Watching Robert De Niro trying to play an Irishman is like watching Joe Pesci trying to play someone tall. And yes, I realize the irony of me saying that Robert De Niro can't play a convincing Irishman very well, but that's my opinion and I'm sticking to it. And one of the most iconic scenes in the film, Henry takes Karen into the back entrance of the club, the Copacabana. Henry introduces Karen to his life in the mafia. In one chaotic and continuous shot, Henry takes Karen into the Copacabana and walks Karen into a club through the back entrance, through the kitchen, only to emerge in the main room and be given the best seat in the house. The scene shows us just how far beyond normal people Henry is. He lives in his own world in the mafia. Karen asks Henry what he does for a living. He says he works in construction. She asks further what he does for a living. He says he's a union delegate. We hear a classic comedy drum roll.
Construction.
They don't feel like you're in construction.
No, I'm a union delegate.
Scorsese just made a joke about the fact that Henry doesn't work a normal job. Ladies, if you're ever on a date with a blue-collar 21-year-old man who has all the connections and can get you in anywhere, and you ask him what he does for a living, and he says he's a union delegate, that means he's a gangster. And if you didn't know that means he's a gangster, you probably already dated a gangster. Okay, skip ahead, skip ahead, skip ahead.
Now take me to jail.
Henry Hill is sent to a jail in a Cadillac where he lives the luxurious lifestyle he is accustomed to. He and the other gangsters are giving gourmet food to eat and expensive wine and scotch to drink. I am 9 years old when I first saw this film. For my entire life, I have been terrified by jail. Now I find out that not only is jail not a scary place for some people, but you get to make money as a drug dealer and the guards help you. Then you have a homemade steak and lobster for dinner, not to mention a pasta dish. Sign me up. I'll commit grand larceny tomorrow just as soon as I find out what that is. Okay, skip ahead, skip ahead, skip ahead. Henry becomes a coke dealer and is setting up a big score. At this point, he is not just a dealer, but is a full-blown coke addict. Henry drives around trying to conduct a drug deal and sees a helicopter wherever he goes. Henry becomes a paranoid mess as he goes from errand to errand trying to conduct an integral cocaine deal while he takes care of his family, his workers, and the marinara sauce for dinner. Right as his paranoia is at its peak, Henry is busted by the FBI. Henry and Karen become pariahs after Henry's bust. Karen thinks that Jimmy is going to have her killed after Jimmy tries to give her a free dress. This scene implies that Karen is not being paranoid and that Jimmy is really trying to kill her. If Jimmy was trying to kill her, or at least kidnap her, it was a terrible plan. I mean, what was the plan here? Coax her into walking into a shadowy building in an abandoned alley filled with large, scary men and just hope she walks into this building on her own instead of just driving away, which she does? The coyote had better plans for killing the Roadrunner. Right after Jimmy meets Henry in a restaurant, Henry instantly knows that Jimmy is going to have him killed because he thinks he'll rat him out. The camera zooms in while panning out, creating this strange visually disorienting effect to reflect how Henry feels, realizing that his best friend wants to kill him. Henry joins the witness protection program and rats out the mafia. He gives a great speech talking about what it was like being on top, speaking directly to the audience.
Didn't matter. Didn't mean anything. When I was broke, I would go out and rob some more. We ran everything. We paid off cops, we paid off lawyers, we paid off judges. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. And now it's all over.
And the closest Ray Liotta would get to making another great movie again is Operation Dumbo Drop.
Danny Glover, Ray Liotta, Dennis Leary, and Dougie Doug. In the story of an elephant who turned a top-notch army unit into a three-ring circus.
Anyone here know how to work an elephant?
I was in love with a fat woman once, but she never listened to me.
Oh, this is great.
Operation Dumbo Drop.
In the last scene, Henry in his new role as an anonymous civilian gets the paper in his bathrobe, looking like he wants to kill himself. He has become what he hates, a regular guy. Credits roll. Goodfellas is the kind of movie that comes along once in a decade. Not only is it Martin Scorsese's best, but it's one of the best films of the 90s. Everything about this movie is perfect, from the cast, to the directing, the cinematography, to the editing. Every necessary element needed to make a great film is here. It is the quintessential mafia movie, and honestly, might even be better than The Godfather. Fight me if you doubt me. If you haven't seen it, or it's been a while, give it a watch and see for yourself. Thank you for watching this episode. I really hope you liked it. If you did, please like and subscribe. Please look after yourself and look after each other.
I'm an average nobody. Get to live the rest of my life like a schnook.